Now for a look through the papers with Diptyque Laurent, who's with me here in the studio, and we're starting with the front pages today. Dipty, it's been more than a week, as we've been saying, since this Russian offensive began, and it's getting bloodier.
That's right. After his initial strategy in taking Ukraine faltered, the Russian president has sort of gone for this scorched earth policy now, and the bloodiness of this new phase in this offensive is dominating the front pages. Welcome to hell. That's what the British paper The Eye says. Pretty bluntly, I must say, as babies are born on the floors of air raid shelters, Ukraine's future generations are facing a frightening future. That's what the paper says. And it warns that cities are facing a humanitarian catastrophe after incessant shelling. Supplies are running low, and around 1 million Ukrainians are now refugees. The Daily Mirror also focusing on a newborn baby, a boy born in a bomb shelter beneath Putin's murderous assault, it says, on Kyiv. For his sake, for his future, stop, the paper pleads. You'll see also reiterating its support with Ukraine. Finally, you have the Times of London's cartoonist Peter Brooks's sketched this illustration today, a pretty cynical one, a sarcastic one, what he evokes as Putin's moral high ground, women and children first.
Some papers have chosen to pay, of course, tribute to the Ukrainians, the many Ukrainians who are still valiantly defending their cities.
A lot of focus on this from the Italian paper La Repubblica today. They're paying tribute to the people's resistance, as they put it on their front page, these Ukrainians fighting to defend their country. And the paper hails this resistance, saying it has awoken also a global society and giving the entire world a lesson in how to fight for democracy and freedom. Their finest hour, that's what Metro, the British paper, says, paying tribute like it has been all week to Vladimir Zelensky, the Ukrainian leader. A week on, Ukraine is still standing, the paper says.
And the head of Ukraine's presidential office has also penned a guest essay for the New York Times, Dipty, appealing to the global community for more help.
Andrei Yermak, he writes his appeal from his bunker alongside the president, alongside President Zelensky, and in this article he's urging the world to listen to Vladimir Putin, to not underestimate his desire to create a new Russian empire. Yermak writes that while they are thankful for the international community's sanctions and military aid, he says it's not enough. What he really wants is a no-fly zone over Ukraine, and does concede that it will be a serious escalation in the war and possibly bring NATO into direct conflict. But he says they would be potentially dragged into the conflict anyway if Putin does reach and manage to take control of Ukraine. Stand with us today, he writes, so that our future doesn't echo Europe's darkest hour.
Now, there's lots of focus on Poland in today's press and to its open-door policy to Ukrainian refugees, which Dipty has put it in a positive light for a change.
From zero to hero, from EU's bad boy to star pupil, that's how Politico describes Poland's transformation since this invasion in Ukraine. You know, they've opened their homes to their Ukrainian neighbors. They've also become, Poland's also become a staging point for anti-tank and anti-aircraft rockets. They've really stepped this up since a crisis, and it's bringing them some goodwill. The government is hoping that this rare positivity will also encourage the European Commission to release billions in delayed EU pandemic funds. Foreign policy notes that Poland has fought with Brussels over a whole host of issues. But since the invasion, the political ranks are showing a rare sign of unity. It might also be out of self-interest, though. If Russia does manage to control Ukraine, it may not stop there, and Poland's territorial integrity could also be affected. Let's show you this front page of the Gazeta Wyborcza, a Polish paper. You see on the top there, their banner brandishing Ukraine's colors.
And very quickly, Dipty, one British paper is appealing for the renaming of an iconic dish.
That's the Telegraph is appealing to British supermarkets to rename the iconic chicken Kiev lunch dish, a breadcrumbed chicken dish, to chicken Kyiv. So Kiev is a Russian pronunciation. Kyiv is a Ukrainian pronunciation. The dish itself was a symbol of the new era of outward-looking Russian internationalism in the 90s. And it has its origins, depending on who you listen to, either in Ukraine or Russia. So chicken Kiev or chicken Kyiv, how you pronounce it could determine which side of history you want to be on.
Diptyque Laurent, thank you very much for the press review there. Do stay with us here on France 24. Our coverage of this war in Ukraine continues for you after the break. Do stay tuned.